This recording contains adults using adult language. Consider this your fair warning and enjoy.
After this point, you'll note that Jeremiah Blitz seems to actually kind of leave at this point. Would be give me a somebody give me a search check. This is
Like
a
perception or something.
it's a challenging search check, so it's a +0.
I think I get a bonus to that. Hang on.
Anyone wants to notice when he leaves or who he leaves with or anything like that?
I don't see a
Nope.
search.
Yeah, guys, just roll a D100. Don't use your sheets. The sheets are clearly not working. Just roll a D100.
Sure it's
do the
not
math.
working?
It's for the skills that were already in the charts or the skill sheets. It doesn't take into a factor your ability score for some reason.
Oh.
So, well, I know for mine, I just typed in my ability score as the modifier since there was no other
I
modifiers.
think Tuna may have gotten it anyway. Tuna,
I
what's
didn't
your
get mine.
perception?
My perception is 36.
Do you have search trained? I don't know if search is actually. I don't think it's one of the ones that require it. You're okay. Yeah. Okay. So you would notice that he kind of seems to slip off with a noble lady.
Are you sure this isn't Dren?
Yeah. Yeah. That's just kind of like what's really changed. I actually, I forgot to give you guys the commander that's with General Dante is Commander Reynolds. It's just
Like second
his
He
command.
would have
second
been
in
part of
command.
that, wouldn't he?
He would have been part of your conversation, so that's why I'm giving you the name.
What was his name? Sorry.
Commander
Reynolds.
Reynolds. Spelled Reynolds.
Okay.
Is he wearing a brown coat?
Be free to move about to do our next.
Yep. So next hour comes along. Where's everyone going?
Well, next on my list was actually Silvia Loche, but I guess I need to discuss with.
I mean, we can assume that there's like a 10-minute kind of overlap of you guys kind of meet up and speak.
Yeah, I would definitely
So
tell him it's
you'd
just like she's
probably-
agreed to a meeting at some point to discuss this.
Do we have a
He
location
seems-
or
He
exact time
seems
for that?
willing.
You guys would be aware of the location of this.
Okay.
So the people we should really talk to is either try to find Jeremiah Blitz left.
It'd probably be a bad idea.
Why not?
If we
Another
interrupt
perception
Jeremiah
check to see if he
Blitz,
slips back in.
if we interrupt him during his time there, he might not be real happy with us.
His private meeting.
Yeah.
What if he's not doing something he should and we blackmail him?
Let's let's try to find the other rogue trader, the female one.
Yeah. So
Elizabeth
then next would be Lady Elizabeth Orleans.
Let's seek her out.
Awesome.
Kieran's getting all of me. Let's blackmail some bitches.
I got a
Hey,
camera. We could get some explicit photos going here.
We got my picture corner going here.
All right. Whew.
Why don't anybody like my ideas?
'Cause they're bad ones.
Bad.
I
Hey,
mean,
it's a good idea. It's just
Who
Who
is
is
I
bad?
don't
You
agree
should feel
with.
bad.
Who all is going to be at the meet, like the little rendezvous with Elizabeth Orleans?
I want to stay behind or go back over to talk to the general's commander, Commander Reynolds. So I'm going to split off from the group and do that.
Okay.
Malice would inquire with Regulus if he would wish him to accompany or not.
That's fine.
Alrighty.
If I could do some research, or help him with his research. I get the feeling because the tech priest doesn't really care for the party. We would just party to continue.
You're cutting out a lot there, Karen.
Yeah, well, I didn't get that last bit, Karen. So what are you doing
To
exactly?
help him with his research because he's more interested in that than the party. So
Okay.
we just kind of left the party.
Actually, he will actually exclaim when you bring that up. He goes, "I would, however, at the minimum, I would have to stay here for 2 hours to reach the correct level of politeness before departing." He has it down to a math, apparently.
Good to know.
Sounds like tech priest. I go.
You're welcome to just continue sticking around him if you want.
Hey, I'm around.
Go for some
just-
finger food.
I'm taking some liquor with me.
Okay.
Of course.
At that point,
Is that a
Commander
stealth
Armstrong would be
steal?
keeping an eye to see he doesn't grab bottles and rags.
The rig's like half at home on the ship. I don't need to grab those. You need to do any tests? Just let me take those bottles.
He's literally just grabbing whatever bottles of vintage they have here, just off the tables.
And hiding it underneath the rope.
Oh dear God.
Anyway. Okay, so everyone who's going to Orleans is Dren and Malice.
I believe so.
Okay.
Commander Armstrong will join.
You're going as well.
Yeah.
So okay, that'll be out the whole party for the second hour. Alright. You approach, see, formal introductions and whatnot. Dren, go ahead. Guess
Alright.
you're the one leading this, or is somebody
So-
else taking the reins on this one?
Well, I'm gonna initiate. I'll let anyone follow up.
Yeah.
If they need to. First and foremost, the way I talk to her and my approach is very different than, say talking to Remy Dante or anyone. I talk with an air of authority, but a lot closer to it like I'm talking to an equal. So
More of a-
respecting
more of a-
their status as a rogue trader.
More of a charm then?
Maybe I don't know. I don't want it to feel like I'm essentially trying to take more of an authority over them. So I guess it would be more. But
Okay.
anyways,
Charm is a pretty broad
yeah.
skill. Yeah.
Anyways, I explained that essentially we have a strategy, and we've gotten General Remy Dante to agree with it, and for this plan, for this to work, I would need the cooperation of Lady Elizabeth Orleans, if she would allow me to command her, as I believe this would be the best way to guarantee success.
Interesting. Okay, so she seems interested once you bring up the fact that you already have kind of Dante in your pocket. Could I actually get I know this is kind of weird to do it this way, but could I actually get a charm skill check from you? The difficulty for this is actually only ordinary, plus 10. I'm
Would
trying
this
to
be
get
considered pure military?
no. This is actually more of your character's tact, let's say, in discussing this, in such a sense that
Well, no. Here would be I gain +10 bonus to fellowship when interacting with the chosen group, and that's military.
Interesting you bring that up.
Because they are
She's
military.
she's not technically military though. She's more rogue trader, right?
Okay.
So I don't think I could give you the bonus from military for this.
Okay.
But it's good to know that you have that.
Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of stuff. I also get a +5 bonus to all command tests.
Cool. Good also to know, but this is more of a...
I also have Air of Authority, so I affect more targets with my test.
Nice.
But all right, no, I understand. I'm just kind of dumping all that on you now. So
No, it's good. Definitely you want to take advantage of your skills that you have. That's why you have them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, go ahead and give me that charm roll.
All right, so let's see, how am I going to do this? Because it is trained. Not sure. Probably didn't work, did it? No.
No.
So, all right.
Yeah,
So how
just
do
roll
I?
a
It is
D100 and do
trained.
the
So
math.
what do I get as far as
If
rolling?
it's trained, you get to use your full statistic score for it.
All right,
let me just do this. Roll a D100,
Roll. Okay.
and then we can do the math.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. What's your charm?
I mean, my fellowship.
Yeah, but and your charm. So, what's your fellowship?
45.
You've
So
already
is your
beaten
charm
that.
like
What's your charm? Though, just out of curiosity.
It says 45.
Yeah, because it's just his full skill. He doesn't have
What's
like
your
the
charm?
he
plus
doesn't
10,
have
plus
any
20.
additional?
Do you have anything in charm?
I have it trained. I don't have additional things.
That's fine.
So it's,
Okay, that's all I was
Yeah.
curious about. All right, so you definitely beat it with a couple of extra points of success. Every time you beat it by 10, the check, that's an extra thing of success. So you've actually got two. What's it? Two.
Degrees of success.
Thank you. Degrees of success. That's exactly what I was
Okay.
looking for.
Has something.
I wish the dang rolls were working.
It's okay. It's not hard for us to just kind of do this where we know. So, all right. So this actually yields a couple of things. Actually, so he seems very amenable to this idea. I'm assuming you've kind of given her the strategy and whatnot, like
Yeah.
just to kind of move things forward. She seems okay. It sounds like it could work. It sounds like a sound strategy, like you thought this out. The fact that you've gotten the general on board, it's very good. And ultimately, she seems very calm with you. Like she's talking to you very much like how I would talk to you on a normal day.
Yeah.
So there seems to be some kind of rapport. So she says that, ultimately, she's looking for two things here. She's not a fan of the ecclesiarchy, first off, and she thinks that they're meddling with a lot of Damaris's success. She thinks that Damaris would be better off without them. She seems to bring this up more of a kind of like her overall kind of plans. This is not a like tying you to anything. She does say that ultimately she's looking to keep her trade compacts with Damaris and possibly expand upon them. And she knows that, if Damaris isn't here, she's not going to have trade compacts with it, obviously.
Right.
So she feels that a lot of her personal success even is tied with the planet and its people. And she doesn't say it in like any kind of mean-hearted way. It's more of a matter of fact.
Right.
And she says, of course, saving the people. She doesn't feel anybody deserves the fate of orcs coming through your house and killing you. However, over and beyond that part in that your role was quite well, in part in that you've kind of got Dante. She says, there is something that I have come to, a piece of knowledge that has come to me. She seems to kind of lower her voice so that you can hear it, and I'm sure the party's close enough they hear it as well. She's clearly telling you this in confidence. Her astropath had picked up a signal that was sent to another vessel. She believes it is Captain Silvia Loche's vessel. What the astropath had let her know. Signal was for Silvia to abandon Damaris and return to the fleet. It appears that the Imperium, or at least the Imperial Navy, doesn't believe that this is a winnable defense.
Okay.
She shares that with you.
All right. Of course, I thank her for that piece of info.
Other than that, though, she's kind of agreed to,
Okay.
Okay. Now, Gabriel,
Yeah.
you've met with Commander Reynolds. His first name is Orran. Oren seems to be more of like a I guess like you could say like a salty voidsman. In the sense that he's only been doing this for quite a long time. It seems like it's the family business. You know that he has the utmost respect for the general. And he doesn't seem very talkative, but he seems very interested to carry conversation with you specifically because you're a space marine. He doesn't get the opportunity to talk with space marines ever. So, you do obviously you get a couple of bits of information. This is kind of a just talking and whatnot. So if I could get some kind of fellowship roll out of you here as well.
Okay.
Sadly, this doesn't have much information for me to really give you, but there's a little bit of stuff here. I can give you his disposition, at least on the situation. That is more than fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you know that he's got a lot of faith in the general. But he also thinks that the governor's a bit of a fop. He thinks he's kind of like a useless deadweight. He says it in this area, like almost with a air of like he doesn't care that people know his opinion on this. Get that. But this has also kind of been a prevailing thing with at least the military branch of the levy. So it doesn't necessarily surprise you.
Alrighty.
As for what goes on with Kylo, not much. More kind of heck talk.
Am I able to ask him any questions specifically or no?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, if you have a particular question.
The biggest thing, I just wanted to try and set up a time with you, Commander. Hopefully tomorrow with the rest of my crew to discuss specifics as far as the assets militarily, like on the bulwark, your fleet surrounding the planet, and also ground troops, levy troops. So you can understand what assets we have to work with. Is there a way we can set that up sometime tomorrow?
Yeah, he'll get that set up. He has no problem organizing that with you.
That's all I wanted.
Okay. let's see. Hmm.
They brought
Okay,
that.
so really quick. So Kylo, kind of departs at the end of hour 2 with the with Tech Priest Hadron Shard. His name's actually Hadron Shard. So Kieran, your character has kind of left the party.
I don't could I get that?
Um, I'm sure to your disappointment, however, when you do kind of in the third hour arrive at the forge with him, find that his research that he's so interested in is quite esoteric. Doesn't really have any bearing on what's going on whatsoever, and it's all very boring. He seems more keen to talk on subjects like philosophy, quantum physics, literature, and numerology. He has a fascination with numbers.
Damn. Too bad I don't have that trait. I do have cryptology.
Okay, well, I mean,
I was gonna get numerology, but you know.
is there any particular things that you're trying to seek out doing here, or getting in good with the Mechanicus?
I just try to get.
I can tell you that you can accomplish that just by giving him the time of day.
Uh,
Actually, so
and then I could kind of any insight on the rest of the Mechanicus cult.
I can probably give you some more information, at least on the forge section, here in a bit. But for hour 3, what's the rest of you guys doing? We kind of got Kylo's here, so.
Has Jeremiah Blitz come back, or is he still MIA?
He's gone.
I thought so. Really, the only person we haven't talked to then would be Lord Governor.
What about the?
Isn't that who we talked to outside of the meeting room?
Yes.
Yeah, we met him already the night before.
Right, I'm just saying we haven't let him know that. You know,
Well, I feel
hey,
like we should try and talk with Silvia, the one that.
Well, Sylvia is probably off doing other things, and while you guys do have a meeting with her. There are other characters here that you can meet with.
okay. I
Um,
don't really know who else.
I mentioned them at the beginning. You guys may not have picked up on it. There's a bishop. There is also a member of the what are they called? Apologies. There seems to be there's a marshal there. Actually, that and there is also an astropath.
Said a bishop, a marshal, an astropath. You were saying something about a cult, but you kind of cut out.
What? There's nothing about a cult here.
I'm the only one that heard that?
No, he didn't say anything.
Oh,
Not that I remember.
Oh, never mind then. Hearing things.
Let's go talk to the marshal. How does that sound, guys?
Okay. The marshal. So who's going to see the marshal?
Me.
Just Gabriel.
Guess I'll tag along to him. Not a religious person. There's no need to talk to a bishop.
I'll let the soldiers talk to soldiers.
So, you guys would meet with this woman. You'd quickly go through introductions as Solaria Thrace. And she kind of leads the local organization modeled after the Adeptus Arbites.
Okay.
So, local law enforcement kind of idea.
Yeah.
Commander's very blunt even with introduction. Short brown hair. Seems like a bit of a wiry woman. She definitely has like a soldier's bearing. But she's not unfamiliar with the formalities of the party. Formal introductions and whatnot. How do you approach?
Walk up, greet her formally in High Gothic, and then transition to Low Gothic.
Nice. She reciprocates, obviously.
I would mostly just kind of chatter and really try and build a little bit of rapport with her. After a minute or so talking, I want to talk to her about the local military and law enforcement's feelings towards the Planetary Governor. Just tell her, I've kind of picked up on, it almost seems like a little bit of, I don't know, malcontent within the military.
Why don't you give me a bit of an inquiry test here? It's also a fellowship-based test.
Okay.
Damn.
Wow.
Nice.
It was everything.
Well, yeah, this floods out pretty quick. Probably out of the sheer respect of, when an Adeptus Astartes asks you something, most people are either A, fucking afraid of them, or B, have the utmost respect. It certainly seems like this one is respect. Maybe a little bit of fear. He thinks that quite bluntly, the governor is a weakling, dilettante, and quite possibly a drug addict.
Just as I thought.
Yeah. He doesn't agree with a lot of things that he does, but he is kind of above station. So not much that she can do about it. But it doesn't mean that she can't have an opinion, and she's definitely shares the general opinion of the governor.
Okay. The last thing I would say before leaving, or next thing I would say is, Marshal, I can certainly understand your concern. It seems very similar across the board from the other individuals we've spoken with. We can assure you that after this attack, we're going to be supporting, hopefully instating someone with a little bit more of a backbone. And hopefully they're not a drug addict. That'd be nice.
She seems happier to hear that.
And that's all I really want to say to her, aside from just gaining rapport and respect.
Understood. Right?
You got anything? Commander Armstrong's with me, right?
Yeah.
Can I say anything?
She has nothing to add to that. She just standing there, just like, well, like she just said everything. Okay. So she just kind of made notes of everything.
Okay.
There's nothing else to really add.
Anybody else? Seeing anybody else for hour 3?
Malice would take a moment, grab, something to eat off of whatever they have laid out for the guests, but he would keep like an open ear to see if he could pick up anything from like the chatter around the room.
Give me call it a scrutiny check.
Okay. Difficulty?
This Just kind of doing a bit of a skim. There's a lot of people still here. Let's call it challenging.
Okay, so no change. Yeah, I failed that.
So you don't really pick up much. Like I said, lots of random gossip. Nothing that seems overly helpful. Suppose last is Regulus.
I kind of grab a drink, and in this hour, I'm more kind of leave myself open to maybe other people who want to come up to me and discuss anything.
Interesting. All right.